to everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Coles Brown Show, right here on the Black College Sports Network. Yours truly, Coles Brown. Our guest menu, joining us for the entire show, will be Coach Farasi Norman. He will join us very shortly as part of the panel. Here's simply what's trending on the Coles Brown Show. Southern University clinches the Western Division Championship last week. It wasn't an overtime game. It wasn't a nail-biter. It wasn't close. Left a few points on the field. But the Jaguars got it done. Congratulations to the players, the staff. It wasn't easy. If you've been watching this show and all the shows on the Black College Sports Network, you know that they persevered. They overcame a lot of things every week, but they got it done. And that's congratulations to Coach Graves and his entire staff and the players, the trainers, everybody for a job well done. Still more to go. Still more to go for the Southern University 2024 football team. The 2024 SWAC Football Championship is set. Of course, Southern University against Jackson State in Jackson, Mississippi, December the 7th. The 2024 SWAC Football Championship. And then last but not least, we're going to have a discussion. Is sportsmanship dead? And we'll kind of get into all of that. Now, we'll introduce the panel one by one. And they'll be coming in. There's Willer Brown, affectionately known as A.D. Willer Brown, Coach Farasi Norman. Good morning, gentlemen. Good afternoon to you.
Morning, fellas. Morning.
Good afternoon.
Well, I said I was going to give a little toast here. The Jaguars got it done. Here's to a successful season and just maybe, a few more games to play. We shall see, Willer, but from an administrative standpoint, it's good news. It's good news all around.
You can't ask for better, Carlos. First-year coach, coming right out of the gate and getting it done. Was picked to finish, second or third or what have you, on that side of the ledger. Mm-hmm. And, to come out on top, that's what you're looking for. And, Coach Graves and his staff, like you said, have done an outstanding job. Still got a little ways to go, in terms of the bigger picture. But, hell of a start. No doubt about it. And, it's something to hang your hat on, no doubt.
And Coach Norman, I said it in my opening. It wasn't easy. 3 overtime wins. Could have went the other way, but it didn't. Quarterback play. It was a constant switching, trying to find the right piece. So they got it done. Offensive line. They made some adjustments, and that seems to have worked out pretty good, because when I give you the stats from last week's game, I always talk about that balance, Coach Norman, and they finally got the balance that they were looking for.
Shout out to Coach Graves. Start off with saying shout out to Coach Graves and his coaching staff. What that means right there, Carlos, when you got 3 different overtimes, that means your team is fighting. That means you're coaching. Not yelling, screaming, calling kids out their names, grabbing by their face, man. That means you're coaching. You're motivating, encouraging them to dig deep, find greatness. And so I applaud that, man, especially, after 20-some years of looking for a head coaching job, circling from this job to that job in the SWAC, was interim over here, was interim over there. But everywhere he's been, he's always done good things. So I was real happy when Southern picked him up permanently and gave him the job. And I was thinking, okay, brother, now you got your shot. There's some of us out there, me, example, looking for a shot, but now you got your shot. You got to swing for the fences. You can't just go 500 because people are going to scratch their head. So I think Terrence Graves did a great job. I think he set the standard. I think he's pretty much told people who he is and what he's planning on doing. I think he's got that program in the right way. Quarterback-wise, yeah, I think they was having some problems in the beginning, but I think that young man T-Set has turned out to be the guy for them. And I know a couple weeks ago we were talking about quarterbacks of the SWAC. When we had Doug Williams and Shaq Harris and my man from Alcorn, what was his name? The brother Steve McNair. They were trying to find somebody to put in that category. And so I think that the young kid at Alabama State, not to get off subject, and his young brother here, T-Set, I think they're going to be 2 quarterbacks that we as HBCU male and female can say, hey, those are our guys, because you can just see the uprising in both of them. Once again, that comes back to coaching. I mean, yeah, they got plenty of athletic ability, but that comes back to coaching. So once again, shout out to Coach Graves, and the Southern staff, and hopefully they just continue to move forward in a positive way.
In a positive way, Jaguars 31-9 over University of Arkansas Pine Bluff in front of 17,740 fans. You kind of wish it was Wheeler. I mean, that's about their average this year, minus the homecoming football game against Alcorn State. It was senior day. And so, you kind of wish it was a few more, at least 21,000. But it was about their average. That
ain't bad, Carlos.
No.
That's not bad. That's not bad in the grand scheme of things. It's not bad at all. Like you said, you always wish and hope that it was more, but in the grand scheme of things, that wasn't bad. This late in the year, not bad at all.
Yeah.
And so just gotta keep it moving from there.
Yep. Those 2 p.m. games, in November, everybody kind of goes with that time frame in the conference. But for the Jaguars, again, 31-9 to go 7-4 on the season, 6-1 in SWAC play. Some of the numbers that were interesting, and I talked about in the opening, the balance. Southern had 216 yards rushing. They had 202 yards passing. First game, I think, that they really got that balance like they wanted to. Total offensive yards, 418 yards on 65 plays. They averaged over 5 yards, 6.4 yards per play. They led the time of scrimmage. Time of possession, 37 minutes and 17 seconds, or 22 minutes and 43 seconds for UAPB. But now here's the interesting thing, and I have a note to myself. What did we find out? You ready for this, Coach Norman and Wheeler Brown?
Bring it on.
And Wheeler, I think you were on the show. I interviewed this young man out of Atlanta, Georgia. Third on the depth chart. He came in against Alabama A&M, and then he got the start against UAPB. Jalen Woods, 14 of 22, 202 yards, 1 TD, 1 interception. Boy, they had a couple of drops that hurt him. But here's the guy, third string, and just my humble opinion, he's a little bit of both. Athletic ability, high quarterback IQ, and he's got a strong arm. Congratulations to Jalen Woods. He led this team, and he did something that no other quarterback this season for Southern University has done. Had back-to-back consistent games.
It's all about what coaches preach all the time, Carlos, about being ready when your number's called.
Exactly.
And obviously this kid took that message to heart. He could have pissed and moaned about being the third stringer and all that sort of thing and went into a funk or what have you. But, obviously he practiced hard every day. Obviously, he got some things done. And, when it was his time to shine, he jumped in there prime time and got it done.
He comes from a good high school program. He's a redshirt freshman. And Coach Norman, I got a suspicion that I don't think he's going to let it go. I think he starts in Bayou Classic, and then I think he starts in the SWAC Championship game unless he just totally bombs. But I just don't think it's going to happen.
So is there a quarterback competition now? So T-Set is not the guy. I thought a couple weeks ago they said it was T-Set's job. So now it's Woods' job.
Well, that's what I'm saying. My opinion only, because T-Set came in, he got the offensive player of the week. Then the next week he got benched, I think, in the second quarter. So you're kind of looking for consistency. and Woods to me has shown it. Now that is just my opinion. I'll go in the chat room and see what the Southern Knights in there what they think. But it's all about team.
You
Wheeler.
ride the hot hand, Carlos. You
Yeah.
ride the hot hand.
Well, I'll say this: it's
Yeah.
always good to have two quality quarterbacks, no matter what. You know, some
Yeah.
people despite me because I play two quarterbacks. I know some people say you can't do that. I've always had success with it, and so I do that. But I mean, I don't know what Southern's going to do, but it's good to have two quality quarterbacks. But I thought T-Set was the guy. But hey, if Woods is the man, you know, whatever he's doing is working. But I thought T-Set was the guy.
Hey, I just think if we can look in the future, Cristobal, I think they both will be battling guys in the spring and in upcoming 2025 football season. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. Just my opinion on that. But I was 14 of 22, 202 yards. Well, now the Jaguars get ready. They've got an off week, and now, oh boy, Wheeler, the granddaddy of them all. The Godfather, Coach Cassim, said it's the biggest game in Blackdom, HBCU Blackdom. I know that probably could be debated, but a long history. Now, an off week. I think Southern's scheduled to practice today at 1 o'clock, as if next week, you know, they'll be at 1 p.m. But it's Grambling State's, I think from their perspective, this is going to be their Super Bowl. The roles have been reversed many times, Wheeler, where Grambling was going into the championship or had won a championship, and Southern came into that game. That was their championship, and they were able to pull off some big upsets. Wheeler, I expect Grambling's best game all year.
I would expect so also. Coaches have been hired and fired based off of this performance coming up. So, you know, I don't think things have changed that much. You know, and everybody understands the ramifications behind the game. And so, you know, it's still as big as it ever was. You know, both teams could be 0 and whatever. And, you know, this game will make or break their season all the way around.
Yes, Mary says the Bayou Classic is on my bucket list to attend soon. Do that. Oh boy, I mean it's big, and you know we've talked about it before. Will and Coach Norman. It's with Grambling. It's kind of like it's family. It's a rivalry, but the Southern Jackson State game is much more intense. And Will, you saw it firsthand.
Yeah.
I mean it's intense. So I mean, I'm not going to do a poll and say who is Southern's biggest rival. You just put them in that category. Intense, Southern Jackson State, family, Southern and Grambling State, the Bayou Classic. But man, so Southern next week, Grambling State, then the next week, Jackson State. Two of your most intense rivalries, Wheeler. Oh, how could this have set up any better?
Well, you know, the good part about it is, Carlos, there's not that long break now, you know, between the games, that sort of thing. And, you know, I think the Celebration Bowl is like the week after that. You know, so, you know, I'm all for it. Let's keep it busy, that sort of thing. That time off can be a killer, you know, for a lot of reasons. And so, you know, I like just keep going right at it, back to back to back. Let's get it on.
That's why you're called the Hardline on this show, because Coach Norman, there has been a debate on social media. You know, like the MEAC representative is going to have a nice little vacation time off. The SWAC champion has to go the next week and play. You know, I'm not going to ask or talk about is there an advantage. I'm not going to ask the question, is there an advantage? Like Wheeler says, you just got to show up and play the game.
That's it.
Grambling Rivalry is a family feud. Johnny says Jackson State do not like those folks. That's about sums it up. Coach Norman, have you ever been involved in, from your side of the ledger, of an intense rivalry where it's family, but then it's just a healthy, intense dislike?
When I was at Langston, 95, 96, I played football, ran track there. Our
Mm.
biggest rivalry was Arkansas Pine Bluff. We did not
Mm.
like them. They did not like us. Now, there was nothing like they're doing these days with the off pre-game fighting or post-game fighting. We didn't do none of that. We hit each other
Right.
real hard. We pointed to the scoreboard. My junior year, we went to them, and it was in the rain, and they beat us like 23-20. And this is
Hmm.
when I found out how big the game was, because when we came back that Monday in class, we had some little pretty black girl. It was three brothers. We was me and two others on the team, and this little girl would not let up on us. I mean, she let us have it. I drove all the way out
Wow.
there in the rain, and y'all played like that. I mean, I'm new to the school. I don't know who she is, and I'm looking at her, and she wouldn't stop. She let us have it. She let
Wow.
us know that she was not very happy with us. So the very next year, we played in a called the Tim M. Chris Classic. Tim M. Chris is a very well-known coach at Langston University. And
Mhm.
so we played in this classic in Ardmore, Oklahoma, and we won the game like 25-21. So they've always been close games, and it was in the rain and everything like
Mhm.
that. So that was our biggest rivalry. So I understand where the rivalry is coming from. And but like I say, we were taught that week, hey, it's gonna be a good hard fought battle, fellas. We're the better team. Let's go win it. We had good coaches and everything sort of like that. But yeah, I've been in a battle like that. As far as all that time off goes, if your team is hurt, that's a good thing. That give them time to heal up, get in the weight room, get stronger, get ready for it. But I'm with Coach Brown. I like to just keep going forward. That's what we got trainers for. If you're injured, go see the trainer. And I tell my boys, if you're hurt, let me know. I'm not trying. I'm not
Mhm.
here to try to get you injured or anything like that. But if you don't say anything, how do I know? Everything sort of like that. So, but I like what Coach Brown said. Let's just keep moving. So there could be a pro and con of both of those. I want to say one thing you said a couple seconds ago about the Bayou Classic, what Marino Camp said, the biggest black game or something. I would have to
Mhm.
agree with him because I've been known of black college football. Of course, I'm a black college product, and honestly, I don't know another game bigger than the Bayou Classic because I've known people all over the country to stop, take off work, fake sick, and
Mhm.
get to that classic, and everything like that. So I would have to say, yeah, that is the biggest game we as black people have on a positive level.
Well,
Well. Mhm.
if you're not hurt this time of the year, you haven't played football. That's the bottom line. Everybody's nicked up, bruised up, beat up, banged up, that sort of thing. When you've just gone through a whole season, So I mean, you get some rest. Sure, that's probably an advantage to it all. But bottom line, this time of the year, you know, you suck it up and go. Bottom line.
Yeah. Well, I peeked in the chat room, and Sonic Boom C98 says, for the most part, the break has helped the MEAC. The MEAC just had the better team the years Alcorn went. Yeah. There were too many distractions around Prime both times JSU went. Well, Jack State lost both times, and I think they were heavily favored in that game. Wait a minute, because I don't want the Jackson State people attacking me, but it is what it is.
Yes, it is.
Facts. Yeah, they lost both times. Now the distractions, he is what he is, right?
Well, I mean, you got to come to play, Carlos. I mean, that's the
Mm-hmm.
bottom line. You got to get your kids ready to play. The hell with all the hoopla and all that sort of thing and stuff. It's about fastening up those shoulder pads and button down that helmet and let's go.
And
On any given Saturday, anybody can take it to anybody. So, you know, it's all about who wanted the most.
yeah, I would agree with that. And also, um, am I wrong about this, Wheeler? It just seems like the MEAC is more physical. I mean, to me, in those games, they were very physical. I remember North Carolina A&T and the Alcorn State
Mm-hmm.
games,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Grambling beat North Carolina Central, but it was a very physical game. And at that time, probably the two most physical teams were Grambling State and Alcorn.
Well,
But
back in the
mhm,
70s, when I played back in the 80s,
mhm,
that sort of thing, the SWAC was more so known as the most physical conference.
Mm-hmm.
But just seems like, you're right. Over the last 10 years or so, what have you, the roles have reversed a bit.
Mm.
And I think the MEAC has become, a little bit more physical, that sort of thing. And so I think it probably comes and goes in cycles.
And speaking of that, Coach Norman and Wheeler, I went to the budget director, laid out a plan, and I'm going to be in Atlanta. I'm
All
flying out.
right.
I'm
All
flying out
right.
that Friday, and I'm going for the SWAC as usual.
All right.
Now, if it's Jackson State there, that's who I'm pulling for. The I love. At least on that day. If Southern makes it, oh my God. Then I'll have to bring the entourage in.
Well, I'll be torn either way, simply because, Coach from South Carolina State, Coach Barry, he's a mentee of mine.
Hmm.
And, kind of watched him grow up from a pup. I guess he's a full-grown dog now, that sort of thing.
Oh,
And
yes, yes.
naturally, if Jackson State is there, they're gonna tug at my heart from their point of view. And I'm a big Coach Graves fan, so if Southern's there, definitely want to see him doing well. So it's gonna be. I'm gonna sit probably at the 50-yard line on one side or the other, or somewhere up in the press box somewhere, and just chill out and just enjoy.
Yeah. You're not gonna have a T-shirt on, and if you take
No,
your
I
shirt
won't
off,
have a T.
it's split.
Won't
It's
have a
split,
If
huh?
anything,
Okay.
I might have some A&T gear on. Might wear my North Carolina A&T gear. And
Uh,
keep it simple from there.
yeah. Wait a minute, Sonic Boom. Wait a minute. Carlos and BJ Jones will be the only Southern folks rooting for JSU. Well, yeah. If they win the SWAC championship, yep, that's who I'm going for. And speaking of South Carolina State's head football coach, Coach Norman, got a chance to see him in Baton Rouge for a few years. Offensive coordinator, offensive line coach, did a great job for Coach Odoms at Southern University. So it's a lot of intangibles, a lot of subplots, a lot of stories. Either way, if Jackson State represents the Southwestern Athletic Conference, or if Southern University represents the Southwestern Athletic Conference. Well, we're going to take a timeout. When we come back, we'll kind of set the 2024 SWAC Football Championship is set. But then I kind of want to get into this. Is sportsmanship dead? And there's been a lot of talk about that. Wheeler, we text during the week.
Mm-hmm.
You've had multiple incidents after the game. I'm going to give my take on it. I think it's just a common sense approach. It's not a brilliant idea that I'm coming up with something. But I thought about you, Wheeler, when you said at some point the head coaches have to get a hold of this.
Mm-hmm.
And, you don't plant the seed the day of the game. You do it early in the week.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, I think we have to look at some strategic things we have to do because something bad could eventually happen.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll save that. Let's go to a break. When I come back, it'll be more of the Carlos Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. We shall return.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
Supermarket sushi, really? No. Wait, Troy, you work here?
I'm never not working. Like Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield technology, up to 100% dandruff protection, even between washes.
Never not working, huh?
Oh, Troy, you're such a good teacher.
Yeah, I know. Never not working. Never not working. Never, ever not working.
Are you serious?
Never not working. Dandruff protection that's never not working. Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield technology.
Hey, grab me one too.
Charmin Ultra Soft has so much cushiony softness, it's hard for your family to remember. They can use less.
Sweet pillows of softness.
This is soft.
Holy Charmin. Oh, excuse me. Roll it back, everybody.
Sorry.
Charmin Ultra Soft is so cushiony soft, you'll want more, but it's so absorbent, you can use less, so it's always worth it.
Now, what did we learn about using less?
You gotta roll it back, everybody.
We all go. Why not enjoy the go with Charmin?
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Coach Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. Do me a favor. Hit the thumbs up button, like, share, hit the notification. Also, Black-owned business. Advertising opportunities are available on the Black College Sports Network. Advertise with Black College Sports Network. info@myjbn.com. We would love your help and support for all of the shows here on the Black College Sports Network. And as I often say, no one can tell the story of HBCU athletics, academics, like the Black College Sports Network. So appreciate you doing that for us. Now, is sportsmanship dead? Well, I don't think it's dead, but I kind of thought about this with Charles Edmond. And by the way, where is Charles? We're looking for Charles. Where is he, Wheeler? He's so excited about the Soul Bowl in Lorman, Mississippi.
He said he had some problem with Wi-Fi.
Uh-oh. Well,
so I think he's trying to get in, but you know, with that probably with that crowd and everything that's going on over that way, I could see where the Wi-Fi opportunities would be kind of limited. That's for sure.
Well, I know for homecoming, you sent a text message at Southern, and person you send it to might get it an hour later. So many people in one area. But I don't think sportsmanship is dead. I think it's wounded. I wouldn't say critically wounded yet. The Celebration Bowl and John Grant. By the way, he texted me this week. They have made a move for this year. After the game is over, then the coaches will shake hands, but the winning team will stay on the field, and the losing team will go into the locker room. Now, Wheeler and Coach Norman, I think referees and coaches during the game, you can kind of tell things are getting chippy and to a point about to explode, because I remember watching or listening to Rob J. and Darryl Asbury. What about two or 3 minutes ago in the game, Wheeler? And Coach Asbury said, it's really chippy now. They might want to think about sending the teams to the locker room after the game and let the coaches, shake hands. And that's pretty much what the Celebration Bowl is going to do. So, is it far-fetched to believe that coaches and referees during the game, I know they got a lot of things going on, but they can kind of see when things are kind of getting really, I'm using the word chippy, and then just go ahead and say, look, we don't want anything to happen, because Wheeler, what I'm afraid of, because, you have trainers on the sideline. In some cases, you have non-employees, shouldn't be, but on the field. Let me get to the bottom line. Something happens, a fight, someone gets injured severely, or somebody tragically loses their life, or they lose a limb, an eye. Then I think it will be some lawsuits coming.
I'll tell you this, Carlos. It's got to be a 3 or 4 pronged approach to this entire situation. I think it starts in preseason, in camp, that sort of thing, where the coaches are, telling the players what's acceptable, what's not acceptable, the whole 9 yards with that. I think it starts with the athletic administration, coming in and pretty much reiterating, the do's and don'ts, the same things, that sort of thing, laying out the penalties for, what will happen if this happens, that sort of thing. I think during the game, the assistant coaches have to measure the temperature. I wouldn't really put that on the head coach per se, because, he's got enough things going on during the game, to where he should not have to worry about those things coming to play. But your assistant coaches, they're right there. They're able to take the temperature of what have you. And then it's up to them to go to the head coach and say, well, look, coach, I think we need to do this, that, and the other, that sort of thing. Or if there's an administrator there, athletic director, assistant athletic director, or what have you, they see what's going on, and, then they can relay, to the powers that be that, we need to do this, that, and the other. This is what needs to happen after the game. But, these kids have to learn about sportsmanship, and I can't tell you how many fights I was involved in when I was a player, that sort of thing. So this ain't nothing new. After the game.
I hope you corrected that activity.
All that sort of thing and stuff. So, there ain't nothing new about that. But at the same time, what I used to do as an administrator, Carlos, go in and we've had some incidents, that sort of thing, at schools where I was. But, I took scholarship money. If a player was on full scholarship, they might have lost a third or a quarter of their scholarship, behind incidents such as what, what's been happening. And if a kid was a walk-on or something like that, hell, he might have lost the privilege to walk on. Period. So, if kids understand and know, that there are penalties behind what it is that they may think about doing. They may still do it, but at least they're going to think twice about it, and they'll just be prepared to suffer the consequences accordingly. But we are what we emphasize. And, once we get back to doing that, I like what John Grant's idea is for the Celebration Bowl, because that's a one-shot deal, that sort of thing. And, the winning team is a happy team, and they're going to, jump all up and down and all that sort of thing and stuff. And the losing team is going to be upset. Go on and send them to the locker room. No need for them to be out there. They didn't win. If you won, then you get the opportunity to stay out there and celebrate. But you didn't. So take it to the house and, get ready, lick your wounds, and try to make it back the following year.
And, Coach Norman, I've seen not just at HBCU games over the years, what is this business of planting a flag on the opposing team's logo? I would condone that.
That's a PWI thing, Carlos.
Well,
that's a PWI thing. I've seen it 1,000 times. And hell, we probably just got flags on our level.
But
we ain't had no flag. Where the flag's gonna come from? Where you get a flag from?
Yep. Well, wait a minute. I understand that, Willa, but I have seen it at our schools. I've seen it. But to your point, yeah, that's why I said it's happening all over college football. Last week I talked about like pulling the gun from the holster. They have the wrestling belts and all that, Willa, and I've seen that on all levels. But guess what? If I'm coaching a team, and then somebody I think in the chat room say, well, come on, Carlos, let's not be a fuddy-duddy and stop the kids from having fun. You have to win with grace, and you have to lose with grace. Not just my opinion, Coach Norman. What do you say?
CB, let me say something real quickly. If a kid is going to act foolish, he's going to act foolish no matter what. You have to be able to control your program and get rid of that kid no matter who he could be. A 5-star, he could be a walk-on. I was talking about this the other day with a friend of mine, and I say, this is what I do. I'm like, give me a few tips. When I walk into a front room and I talk to a mom and a dad, I lay my do's and don'ts down. I say I have a no-punch policy, okay, in practice or in a game. It's football, so it's legal. You get to hit someone for free. There's no handcuffs after an altercation. But if you throw a punch, I'm going to dismiss you because that goes against everything that I'm preaching. We're not a boxing club. We're not the MMA. We're a football team. Then also you need your athletic director and you need your president, like I was saying, at the beginning of August to come in and everyone's together so the team can see a solidarity between my head coach, the athletic director, and the president saying, hey, we're not going to embarrass us that way. If we win, lose, or draw, we're going to keep our helmets on. We're going to shake hands. And what I usually do, and everyone who ever played for me or coached with me will tell you, I'll say, hey, helmets on, shake hands, meet me in the end zone. So I'm going to use me, for example. Let's say I'm upset. I only had 40 yards. I'm the leading rusher. I'm upset, so I'm out there jaw junking. I'm the coach. I'm going to say, Farasi, to the end zone. That's one. Farasi, to the end zone. That's 2. Now, you're not playing next week, my friend, because you're not hearing me. If I have to say it 3 times, you're probably not going to play for 2 weeks, and my team has already been told this. Young kids these days, they have to be told. I'm 52. You guys are probably older than me, but remember, we were coming up. Parents and coaches only had to say things 1 time. After that, it was a disciplinary action. In this era, you have to say it 3 or 4 times so the kid will say, well, because let's say, for example, week 1, I say, shake hands in the end zone. Week 2, but I don't say it week 3, and there's a fight. The first thing they're going to say is, well, coach, you didn't say it. Well, I've been saying it, but you didn't say it. So I have to, unfortunately, I don't like to, but you have to repeat yourself. And you have to have the rules and legs down. I agree with Coach Weaver said by taking money, but, that's later down the line. I start taking game time. You're sitting out the first quarter. You're sitting out a half. You're missing this game. And yes, you will support your team. You're going to stand on the sidelines with your jersey. If it's a road game, you're standing back behind. And I bet that come back and hear any insults and injuries or anything like that you did any destructive to property or anything like that. Otherwise, we're going to dismiss you. But if you throw a punch, yeah, I'm going to get you up out of here, not out the football program, but out the university, because obviously you want to do that gangster thug stuff that we're trying to get away from. And so many people, they still handicap us and hold us to that kind of stuff there. And so many of us try to get away from that. And if that's what you want, go back to the neighborhood where you come from. But if you're over here, I need student athletes. But you got to be firm. You can't just let this kid, because he's run for 300-400 yards and 6 touchdowns, let him slide. Or he's a big time, he's a safety like Ronnie Lott or Ed Reed, and he's a head hitter, and you let him slide. No. You got to slam that hammer down. When he throws that punch, he is done. And obviously, like I say all the time, there's always one kid in the crowd who's going to test you. I don't know why we do that, but they do. And you got to get rid of that kid. That kid got an NFL written all over him. Scouts could be coming every day. Coach, we want that kid. But if he goes against your rules, you have to get rid of him. So you're sending a message through your program. And once again, not just from the team, but the school, the university, going back home. You're not welcome. You're going back home. And that's my philosophy. I've never, ever had to deal with a fighting situation because, like I said, I tell my boys, I'm serious, fellas. If you throw a punch, you're done here. You are done here. So I've never had to deal with that situation. I was very embarrassed last week as an alumni of an HBCU, as someone who's trying to get back in and head coach at university. I mean, not one, not two, but three, but 4 fights? 4 fights?
Mm-hmm.
Really? I mean, I had tears in my eyes like, what are we doing? And people kept saying, why did ESPN have the camera on it? Well, why not? Look how they're acting. Why not? Look how they're acting. So when we start losing stuff, TV time, monies, NIL deals, everything that we're fighting to get to compete with the other PWIs, we're losing because of what you guys are doing. So the head coach has to give that speech, and it starts early. It starts in recruiting. Then the AD and the president have to back him up 100, and when Farasi throws that punch, he's got to go. He's got to go. No ands, ifs, or buts about it. You can't say, well, he comes from a bad neighborhood or he lost his grandma. No, hey. We all have problems, and I feel bad for the kids. But you went against my rule. You threw a punch. You embarrassed this entire university and everything we stand for. I'm sorry, young man, but you have to go elsewhere and open that gate, put him out, lock the door, and keep coaching the young men who want to pay attention to you. Because believe it or not, Carlos, there's a lot of kids out there who really, truly do want to learn from you.
Mm-hmm. And you know, it's always said you represent the university yourself, and you represent Willa, the university. And someone, discipline is real. Tiger Nation said, Willa.
In real life, Carlos. In real life, you know, you going to jail, you're gonna lose your job. You know, it's gonna impact you in more ways than you can ever imagine. You know, so, you know, these kids need to learn that, like we say now, during the formative years, you know, so they don't think that this is the way to go. This is the way to solve things all the time, you know, because once they get out there in that real world, there are real world consequences to those actions.
Yes.
And if you don't relate that to them right now at this age or earlier, you know, then you're going to get those same problems as they move forward.
You know, and that's a good point because, you know, I was watching local high school and you hadn't seen fights, but, you know, you see after, you know, scoring a touchdown, boy, some of them are getting very creative, if you get my drift. And you just don't want to lose the message of that. Now, Chuck said in the chat room, 2021, Southern and Jackson State. How well did I forget that one? It was pushing and shoving and kind of fisticuffs. And I know it's emotion. You know, it's emotional after game. So, again, when you see it, you could take the temperature, I think what you said, Wheeler, during the game, assistant coaches. You see it, you try to cut it off ahead of time. Shake, you know, in the NBA, sometimes they wave at each other and they go to the locker room. And if you see that doing from the first quarter on, yeah, that's the best way to do it. Because I fear that something tragic will happen. And I don't want to see somebody lose their life in the heat of the moment and emotions. And so that's why I say you have to learn how to win with grace. You know, taunting and pointing. You know, back in the day, they would just point at the scoreboard. Okay. That's all you need to know. So miss me with all the noise. But, boy, it's tough. I just don't want to see anybody really get hurt. Now, Wheeler, I text you during the week. Good morning, Coach 67 Sports TV. The fine comes out of the distribution, right? From the conference. Now you said something interesting. You said the first time that happens, the next time, I believe you said it's coming out the coach's check.
You got that right.
Wait a minute, Willa.
And
My.
that stops everything.
So,
everything stops right then, Carlos.
So
there won't be no more issues then.
I can see myself coming. You the AD, you're my boss.
When you
I come to your office.
When you go home and Mama notices that check is a little lighter than it normally is.
Oh, you talking about laying hands then?
Won't be problem solved, Carlos.
Hey,
problem solved.
You right. They say the laying of the hands. If the budget director and Mama's not happy, nobody's happy. But that's interesting. Ooh, boy. Coach Norman, I think I'll just curve off away from that one.
Well, hey, that's one reason why I'm not married, because I don't want it to go home and explain my situation. But it doesn't matter, married or not, the check is light. It hurts because we all got things to take care of, family members, bills, grandparents. But I agree with Coach Brown. You know, Coach, I mean, we took this one. Obviously, you can't control your team, so we're going to hit them pockets. And when you hit them pockets, then you start looking at your guys like, okay, fellas, I can't keep going home $25 down short or whatever it may be, whatever it is like that. So, but once again, if you lay the land down from the beginning, from when you start recruiting that young man and let him know, hey, you get to hit for free. Offense, defense, especially, and you can hit, but if you throw a punch, you're coming back home. You know, so I already know if you want to sign with me or not, because I'm not going to change my policy for you. I don't care how good you are or who you're related to. If you throw a punch, you are done here.
And you know, Wheeler, the interesting thing was, guess who was on the sideline? The commissioner for the Jackson State, Alabama State. Man.
And that's why the fans, that's why the fine was $25,000. As opposed to maybe 5 or 10.
Well, wait a minute. I thought in this situation, I could be wrong. Where's Dr. Cavill at? I thought it's a standard $25,000 fine.
And it probably
I could be wrong.
It probably is standard. It probably is standard. But I just think that the fact that he was there on the sideline, you know, they put that out there very fast. You know, I mean, that was like snap, like right away. You know, so, I mean, it is what it is on that one.
Yeah, Wheeler, what you say, Wheeler? I'm not taking too many
money
out my budget.
No.
And then we as HBCU coaches, we don't make a whole lot of money. I mean, we make enough money to take care of our family and our bills, but $25,000 hurts anybody. $25,000. I mean, you could be the head coach, and especially if you're a running back coach, receiving coach. Oh man, hey buddy, you know what I'm saying? You got to go get some McDonald's time or something.
Yeah. And you know what? Going forward, fall camp, spring. I'm going to tell you now, any of this foolishness happens, and again, I know it's an emotional game, that type of game, but I'm not going to have this no more. And like you said, Willa, you put the things in place and you violate it, there's no gray area.
And in the game of football, Carlos, there's more than ample opportunity to get somebody back. You know, you're talking about football. You know, so the hitting going on every play, that sort of thing. So you got more than ample opportunity to get your aggressiveness on or what have you, that sort of thing. After the game's over with, I mean, it's time to turn it off and, you know, let's keep it moving.
Because, you know,
if I'm that mad at you, Carlos, I should have got you during the game when it counted. You know, after the game, it's too late. Well, you know, water down the duck's back or whatever it is that the old timers say, you know, water over the dam or what have you, it's gone. You know, I should have got you during the game when I had the opportunity.
And, you know, in the big picture, like I often joke about Southern and Jackson State fans, but it's true. They have a healthy, intense rivalry. But at the end of the day, after December 7th, Jackson State wins, they still HBCU family at the end of the day. And so we have to learn to turn it down. And like I said, if they represent the SWAC, hey, I'm breaking bread. I'm shaking hands with Jackson State people because it's family, and that's what you remember at the end of the day. And it'll be interesting. I want to say if, like in high school, something happened, then they make you the opposing teams get together and maybe go talk to, young kids coming up about their actions. We were wrong. I don't know if you can do that now in this instance, but it would be nice if all those involved could just kind of, talk in a group setting and discuss what happened and why, and try to move on. But we'll see. Closing comments for our number one, Wheeler.
Like you said, I just think that, we got to get a handle on things. We got to get a handle on it early. And, there's no reason why kids should not be able to meet at midfield and shake hands, after a hard-fought, tough ball game. No reason why at all, And, I leave it up to the adults. We have to do a better job of relaying expectations to our kids. We got to emphasize that. We got to harp on it. We got to stay on it, that sort of thing. And, then we got to deal with it if something happens, and we got to reinforce those things. And I think as long as we do that, we'll cut these incidents down to slim and none. And we'll get a handle on this thing and pretty much keep it moving from there. But everybody got to play their part. As coaches in football say, everybody got to do their 1/11th. Everybody got to do their 1/11th. And, if that happens, then we'll be fine.
That's true, because one day I hope I can meet EA and Mr. Carey for Jackson State. Hey, cheers. And my Jaguars in the Western Division champion, and they also SWAC, going to SWAC championship games. Now, Wheeler,
Tell Melody they got 60 minutes for the testosterone to rise up.
Wait a minute, what?
And at the end of those 60 minutes, the testosterone level should be leveling out, and should be easing back down. And it was something in the chat room.
Oh, I missed it. What did the producer extraordinaire say?
Was there any room for a rise in testosterone level or something to that effect? But yeah, it's room during the 60 minutes of the game.
I agree with Mr. Brown.
Rise to the highest height.
I agree with Mr. Brown. Once that kickoff, that's when your testosterone rises up and elevates. But once the game is over with, it has to come back down. But then the coach has to be preaching, coach has to preach, nonviolence after the game, and he has to be serious about what he's talking about. Once again, we got to stop babysitting and letting our special kids get away with stuff, because it trickles down throughout the rest of the team. Like, if you let Farasi throw a punch, you didn't get rid of him. Now Wheeler can throw a punch. Now Carlos can throw a punch. And now, Coach, you've lost it. And that's why Coach Brown said, I'm coming to hit you with that $25,000 fine. But if you take care of business from the gate, as soon as Farasi throw a punch, go sit him down or dismiss him. Once you dismiss him, it's going to send a trickle effect through the whole team. Like, whoa, he was serious. Yeah, he's serious. We don't do that here, you guys. You got 60 minutes to play the game called football. There's no need for all that extracurricular activity. But we got to be serious as head coaches. And I see too much babysitting going on. Oh, he's special, or he's going to get a shot at the league. Well, hey, let's just keep it 100. We don't really get that shot. We can graduate. We can move on to the real world. But you still have to look at your AD and your president and the alumni and say, hey, I can run this program. So, coaches, we got to put the hand down. We just really do. And that's how you get it stopped. Once again, I had tears in my eyes. Really, I did. I mean, I'm a grown man, but I had tears in my eyes. I'm thinking, how do we get 4 fights? How do we get 4 fights?
Well, hopefully we won't have 4 fights again in any single season. And I can just, and God rest her soul, I could see if I was playing in college and I was acting that way, my mother, if she was at the game, would literally come out there and throw a combination on me. Because, see, my mom was the enforcer for Wheeler as far as being the disciplinarian. Not that my father didn't. He did as well, but my mom, boy, she didn't play. So we all have to bring the temperature down a little bit. And I also thought about, you remember some years back at a hockey game? Now, there's a joke that you're at a hockey game, you go there to watch the fight, and a hockey game breaks out. But you remember one of the hockey players got arrested, right? Basically, right during the game after he was suspended.
Well, you know, Carlos, when you play on the offensive line, you know, your job is to ensure that your quarterback, your running backs, that sort of thing, that they come out unscathed. You know, so your job is to protect them. You know, so from an offensive line point of view, that's where a lot of my scuffles came in. You know, if somebody tackled my running back and tried to twist his knee or try to twist his leg, that sort of thing, then, you know, naturally I'm to the rescue. You know, it's going to be a little bit of extracurricular, you know, from that point of view. If somebody hit my quarterback exceptionally hard, or, you know, there was a dirty play, that sort of thing, it was up to us, that 5 up front, okay, to protect our teammates. You know, so, I mean, but like I said, in the game of football, there's plenty opportunities for revenge. So ain't nothing dirty got to happen or anything like that. But if somebody's treating your teammate in a harsh manner, in a dirty manner, you know, you're not putting that in file 13. You know, it's fresh in your mind. And should the opportunity arise for you to get that shot legally, you know, then naturally, you know, you before the whistle blow, all bets are off, baby.
Well, I understand, but when that clock hits 0, 0, 0,
dial it down.
Yeah, that's it.
Let's go. Let's take it to the house. Let's go home.
And you know, I understand it's a collision sport, but sometimes you watch during the game, boy, unsportsmanlike conduct penalties. You know, hitting out of bounds and all that. So you don't want to have to worry about that. So you know, you don't want to have that to happen. Like I say, once the clock hits 0, that's it. That's it. And I understand it probably takes some time to come down, bring it down. That's why I think, and the guy I used to do a show with, Coach Bob Bennett, would say he was always big, and I didn't understand it. I was like, what are you talking about, Coach Bennett? A cool down period. And he was big on that. So we'll see. I think the commissioner and the conference, they will get a handle on it. And I think when it's all said and done, I don't think you will have that many incidents. But to say that it won't ever happen again, I'm not going to say that either. So we shall see. That's it for hour number 1. When we come back to hour number 2, Coach Norman and Wheeler, I was shocked. We'll look at the games from last week, and you know which one I'm pointing to. Hey, EA, I don't see him in the chat room.
I think we all know which game you're pointing to.
You took a shot. You took a shot at Southern. It's like, oh, it's, you know. But the home winning streak, second in the country, goes down
to Valley.
And congratulations to Valley. But now I saw them on social media taking pictures on FAMU's football field. I'm getting the heck out of there. I'm gonna celebrate in the locker room. That's just me. You know, maybe I'm too old fashioned.
Now that Carlos was flag worthy.
Oh. On that note, I'll take a time out. When we come back, it'll be more of the Carlos Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. We shall return.
Hey, grab me one too.
This is Ryan Fulford, AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
Choice Hotels is a family of brands that helps you get the most for your money so you can be any traveler you want to be. You could be a free hot breakfast hero at a comfort hotel. Yes! That's how you waffle! Mr. This script got a plot twist at a Radisson Hotel. A business big leaguer. Go for key. Even the ultimate pool float inflator. With 22 brands and the best value for your money, Choice Hotels has a stay for any you. Book direct at choicehotels.com, where travels come true. Gotta get the corners.
You're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics. There's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports Network.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Carlos Brown Show, right here on the Black College Sports Network. Once again, we would love to have Black-owned businesses advertise on Black College Sports Network. No one can tell the story like we can here at the Black College Sports Network. Oh, yeah, I see Mr. Carey. Yeah, advertise with the Black College Sports Network at info@myjbn.com. We really appreciate it. Advertise with the Black College Sports Network. Boy, Wheeler, the chat room, it's funny. EA is hibernating. I almost thought I saw someone said he was in Tibet, becoming an interim monk. But you know what? Yeah, I've been to that point a couple of times. I wanted to just go on a hunger strike and become a monk. I already got the part where shaving head, no hair. And you ever see those guys? But you know, on any given Saturday, and I'm gonna tell you, I was shocked. You know. So that's what, two losses in a row for FAMU, Prairie View, and Mississippi Valley. On a serious note, I just didn't see it coming. I did not. To me, that's equivalent to when Southern lost to Valley 6-0 back in the day, and Coach Mitchell was fired literally after the game. Now, it's not going to happen with FAMU's first year coach, but I can feel the pain. And congratulations, Mississippi Valley State. They've had a tough season. They get their first victory, and boy, do they get a big one against FAMU, 24-21. Wheeler, Coach Norman, I was totally blown away.
Hold on a second, real quick. Carlos, when Coach Stump Mitchell, who I got to meet him personally years back, you say he was let go after the game, or was it at the end of the season? Because I didn't know HBCUs let guys go during the season.
Some do. Some do.
Yeah, it was a Thursday night game.
Mm-hmm.
And it had been raining, and he lost 6-0. They didn't score. Literally, they made it official a couple of days later. No, if I'm not mistaken. I think the next day they made it official. But I think he was, I can't remember. Was he allowed to finish out the rest of the season?
I let a coach go. I let a coach go one time during the season. I let a coach go one time during the season.
A football coach?
Yeah.
Was it early in the season or late in the season?
It was late in the season.
Late in
Matter
the
of
season.
fact, it might have been maybe 3 games remaining in the season. But I just thought that he had lost the team overall. And, we had lost homecoming, so I wasn't going to do it, after the homecoming game. But the next week, it had gotten to the point where, we just needed to go ahead and make the move. And from an administrative point of view, when it's time. And you have to, you got to suck it up and make that call. Do we wait until the season's over with, even though we only had maybe 3 or 4 games left, or is it something that we just need to go ahead and do this now, if we're going to salvage anything, in terms of the morale of the kids and, all that sort of thing. So, from an administrative point of view, if you're around your programs, you know the temperature, you know the feel, and in your heart that you need to make a move right now, or if not, can you hold out until the end of the season?
And Coach Norman, don't believe on this show, because some of the characters are not here today, but I always have to be careful because I for some reason, I don't know how I got lumped into a 2-year contract. That they say I believe in just giving coaches 2-year contract like I have any power. None whatsoever. So if you hear it, don't believe it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right, folks?
I want to say real quickly, shout out to Mississippi Valley. That was a big win. That coach, he's an alumni, and he said that was the biggest win in school history. They've never ever beaten FAMU, so that was big on them. Like I've been saying 2 things at the beginning of the season. I said one, Mississippi Valley's got a good team. They got a big offensive line. They got that big quarterback. I call him like a miniature Cam Newton. They got another kid that's out of Dallas. He's a tall, slender brother. He can throw the ball. They got a running back who reminds me of me when I was a young kid. He wears number 21. That's the number I wore. And I don't know why they didn't feed that young man the ball. I kept saying, Mr. Valley, if you're listening to me, tell your coach, that's how you turn this program around. Get that young man the ball, that big line you got. But anyway, to beat the king of the jungle, because until someone else wins the Celebration Bowl, FAMU's still the king of the jungle. But I also said this about FAMU, and my 2 guys, Brian and AD, will testify. I said you can't keep winning games scoring 13, 14 points. You're too talented. You got a very talented quarterback. You got very good running backs. You got a big offensive line, and you got good defense. You got to score some more points. If not, I said this, someone's going to get you. Now, I didn't know that someone was going to be Mississippi Valley. I really didn't. I said, but if you can't score no more points, someone's going to get you. And now they lost 2 games in a row. The Prairie game, I think Prairie was just – they just slapped them around. I was like, wow, they just slapped them around. And then I think Bethune came in – Mississippi Valley, my fault. Mississippi Valley came in there and just kept punching, Like I said last week on my show, I said, we got this thing. It's called hitting the rock. And you just keep hitting that rock, eventually it's going to crack. And they cracked for them in their favor last week. So I say shout out to them. Hopefully they take care of business today and on a 2-game winning streak getting ready to go into, and maybe that proves that coach has things on a handle, because he was on a 15-game losing streak, and some people were screaming for his head, and some people saying, he deserves another year. And I didn't know. I'm a coach myself, so I'm just thinking, if I haven't won a game in 2 years, what do I just resign and say, hey, I can't do this, or do I say, I need 1 more year? I've been put in that situation. Hopefully that never happens to me, but I was happy to see that he did get one, because by beating FAMU says that he knows what he's doing. Him and his coaches can run that program. And so, I would just shout out to that brother there. And as far as FAMU goes, I said it all along. You guys got to score more points. You guys need to be scoring 35, 40 points.
But it's hard to judge, Coach, when you know that you're not giving the coach the resources necessary in order to be successful. And that's not happening at Valley. So it's difficult to say I need to get rid of this guy. I need to get rid of that guy. When you know from an administrative point of view, you're not supporting him the way that he needs to be supported through no fault of your own. The university just doesn't have the dollars necessary to put a competitive product out there on the field. So you're going to get a moral victory every now and then, that sort of thing. But in terms of sustained success, it's not going to happen, until they make up their mind that they are going to fund the program in the same manner as some of these others HBCUs in their conference. So, it's not going to happen.
So, Coach Brown, let me ask you this: as an athletic director, and we all know the situation that Valley's in. How long? Let's say me. You hire me. We're at Valley. How long do I get if I'm only winning? Because last year he beat Pine Bluff. This year he beat FAMU. If he loses today, he's 2-20. How long do I get before you say, okay, Frost, I think I'll give you enough time? Well, I don't have the resources.
I'm going to give him 4 years. I'm going to give him 4. I'm going to give him until his first class graduates, and then we'll sit back and we'll look and we'll make a determination from there. But I mean, like I said, it's difficult. If the kids are graduating, if they're doing, the things that's necessary, going to class, not tearing up the campus and, all those other things that we look for from an administrative point of view in terms of kids doing the right thing, and if they're out there fighting all the time, if they have the attention of the coach, you can lose and not display a losing attitude, So, I mean, there are all kind of things we can judge these folk off of. And so if they're meeting benchmarks along the way, that sort of thing, then that's going to go a long way towards me deciding whether or not we need to make a change. But if I know, Coach, that I'm not supporting him for whatever reason in the manner by which, we're going to spell success, then it's hard to say, look, Coach, you got to go because of X, Y, Z, that sort of thing. We have to bring what we bring as administrators to the table, and that's from the president's office on down. So it's just not, an AD's decision, that sort of thing. But, I got to let my president know this is how I'm evaluating this guy. This is what I'm looking at, that sort of thing. Kids are going to class. Graduation rate is where it needs to be. They're fighting hard each and every Saturday, going out and doing their very best, that sort of thing. We have to find a way to get him the resources that he needs so that we can take that next step in terms of climbing that ladder of success.
Well, let me ask this, and this is for the people in the chat room as well. Based on knowing what we know, difficult having resources, what's a benchmark specifically for football? Is it 2 to 3 wins? Is that
gotta get me to 500 ultimatly, Carlos?
Ultimately, wait a minute, not in 2 years, huh?
500. even though I'm not giving you the things necessary in order to win, okay, in order to demand championships, the resources that I am giving you can dictate that, this is a 500 program. At best, we might be a 500 program. So, ultimately the goal is to get me there. While I continue to try to improve your lot in terms of getting you the things that you need, scholarship-wise, recruiting budget-wise, and otherwise, in order for us to take that ultimate step of getting into that upper third. So get me halfway. Your coaching ability at some point in time got to be worthy of you getting me halfway there. Got to get me halfway there. If I'm only giving you 10 cents on a dollar, your coaching ability, the reason why I hired you is because, you're a dynamic coach, you're a dynamic individual, that sort of thing. I know you can get things done, with little or nothing. Get me halfway there. Get me halfway there. So do I expect 1-11 or 2-10 on a yearly basis? No. No. But I know that I'm giving you at least enough for us to be a 500 squad.
Well, I think
and that being the case, at some point in time, you got to meet that benchmark.
Well, that would be the ultimate goal. I would agree with that. In steps, first year, say it goes 0 wins 1. Then you got to go to 3, and then 2, 4, and then 5. Can you believe I said that, Wheeler? I mean,
not you, Carlos.
Well, no, I agree with that. With a 500 would be the goal, because their goal is 500. That's just for Mississippi Valley State because of the situation they are in now. But ultimately, I agree with that. Well, that's interesting discussion. But congratulations, Mississippi Valley State and alums. A huge victory. And we're still looking for EA. We're still looking for EA in the chat room. Let me know if you find it. Last Thursday, Alabama A&M over Graham State 22-17. Last week, Alcorn State. They've seemed to find some offense, and they'll need it today. 26 points the week before, 42. They defeat Prairie View A&M 26-13. It was Texas Southern over Bethune-Cookman 17-14. Of course, we were just talking about it. FAMU loses to Mississippi Valley 24-21. That has to be the shocker in FCS football for the year, no doubt about it. And then Jackson State over Alabama State 16-10. Boy, Alabama State defense is nasty, physical, mean, but offensively, what they've been dealing with, they just couldn't muster up enough points. So that's how it was last week in week 12. But panel, Jackson State, Eastern Division champions. They're going to meet Southern University. We won't do any predictions on that just yet, but we'll have time to do that. But congratulations to Coach T.C. Taylor and his staff, and to me, they have been the most consistent team in the SWAC this year. Can they be beaten? Can they be defeated? Yes, they can. If you go back, they lost to Grambling State, but it was a non-conference game, right? So they're still undefeated in conference play, although they lost to Grambling State. And, boy, Charity was good in that game. Jackson State turned that ball over about 5 times. I think if they play again, different story if they don't turn the ball over.
Well, there's an old adage, Carlos, that goes something like this. You can't pay a man on Thursday and expect him to come to work on Friday. So I hope that's not the case for Jackson State today, playing Alcorn. They won the Eastern Division title last week. I'm hoping that TC got his foot on their neck, got his foot on the gas pedal, and drove them hard this week. And hopefully they're going out there today and get it done. But it's hard when you've already reached that goal, that first goal. It's hard to I ain't gonna say expect, but it's hard to get that same level, in terms of intensity that following week when you've already accomplished, one of your major goals the week before.
Well, wait a minute, Will. And Coach Norman, then you can almost apply the same thing the next week. Southern University and Grambling, the Bayou Classic. This is Alcorn State's championship. It's their Super Bowl. Get it? The Soul Bowl. And we've seen the cases before. Alcorn knocks them off. And that same thing. So to your point of that, a valid point. Plus 7 players, I think, for Jackson State got suspended from that fight. And then there's another situation, and my cell phone was blowing up about films. And, Jackson State did something allegedly illegal getting the film. My first thought was, and I know this is going to come off kind of snobbish. If it's proven that they did it, shame on them, because they didn't have to do that.
They sure did. That's for sure.
And I'm just trying to be nice about it. So back a statement was released by Jackson State. Well, it's been investigated. Nothing came about it. Then another retraction came, and it's like, well, we just talked to a SWAC spokesman, and they said they were about to close the case, but then some new information came about. IPN or IP address and all of that. But Will Jackson State, I think, still will be fired up to play in the Soul Bowl in Lorman today at 2 p.m. on ESPN Plus. Because it seems like, I don't know TC Taylor well, but to me, it seems like he's kind of in a sly, sneaky way. He's a gunslinger.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think he'll have his team prepared to play.
I think it will. I think it will. I think they will.
Now, Coach Norman, Alcorn, they would love nothing better than to knock Jackson State off today. So
Alcorn's got good offense. They got a quarterback that I tell people when I recruit quarterbacks, look at him. That's what it be on my sideline. Him and the kid from Pine Bluff, those two guys that I see when I'm out there recruiting. Those are the kind of guys I look for. They got a big, strong line. They run the ball well. They got I forgot the little kids running back. They got 2 little small running backs. I call them scat backs. They're not big backs. They scat back, but they can shake and bake. They play good defense. Jackson State is missing 6 players. Now, I don't know if those are 6 key players, but 6 players are 6 players. I don't know if there's a big difference at Jackson State between 1 and 2s or 2s and 3s or whatever. I don't know. I just heard that they're just missing 6 players. So that possibly could hurt. That possibly could hurt depending on which players they are. Is it the quarterback? Is it the running back? Is it the middle linebacker? I mean, we don't know until kickoff and everything sort of like that. When I heard about the scandal, I shook my head a little bit because there's so many different ways you can scout. One, you still got film breakdown. You can Google a team and see what they're doing. You got they got the new stuff called Huddle. You can log on to Huddle and see what someone's doing. You can watch the previous game before. You can hire you got your GA and say, hey, I need you to watch last week's game, everything like that, and break it down and bring it to me or something like that. So there's different ways to scout someone. So when they say they had someone breaking somebody's IP address, I scratched my head. I'm saying that don't sound right. But people kept pushing the issue. And then they're saying that it could be something like Michigan. It's going to be a fine, and TC could lose his job for a year. And I'm thinking, wow, is this thing going to really be this big? Did they really do that? And my question is this: Jackson State, why? You got the hot hand. You in the driver's seat. You can beat Pine Bluff. I mean, shout out to Pine Bluff. But they're not very good. So if you did that, shame on you. And everything short like that. So it's going to come out in the end. Once again, me as a coach, I don't see why you had to do that. You can break down film and scout to see what they're doing. But as far as today's game go, Alcorn State is in the driver's seat. I think they would love to do nothing better than damp on their parade, everything sort of like that. And I think they can do it. Honestly, I really do. I think they got enough offense that they go out there, they can put up 28, 35 points a day and slow Jackson down because they got to be affected by what's going on. Once again, you lose 6 players. We don't know what 6 they are, but hopefully they're not key players. They're just guys that was on the team. But who knows their morale? But TC's turned out to be a good coach. I was happy that he got his extension. I'm happy that he's out of the shadow of Deion Sanders. It's his team. But, brother, if you did that, shame on you, and you get everything you deserve because there's no reason to do that. Really, there's not.
And you find out everything you need to find out with the game tape.
Yes, sir.
I mean, all those teams got huddled. They're exchanging film. It's mandatory through the conference rule, that sort of thing. So, you got film of their last 2-3 ball games or what have you that you as a coach have access to. You're finding out the things that you need to find out at that time. Now the little wrinkles that they may put in during the week, that's inconsequential to me. So like I said, you're talking about a team that I am much, much better than. There's no need for me to go to that level, to find out information. Now, I jokingly said, if there was Southern's tape out there, you know, I need to be Southern, then, you know, I might have to kind of twist a little bit and, you know, twist in the wind a little bit, but, you know, jokingly.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, there's no room. There's no room for that at all. You know, and my thing is, you know, why did they not, you know, the player involved was no longer on a team. You know, why would his information still have access, you know, to their film, that sort of thing? That didn't make a whole lot of sense to me at all. You know, if a kid's no longer on a team, why would his information be able to access, you know, that information? That doesn't make sense for some reason.
I agree.
You know, and I'm not a computer guy, so it's either here or there, you know, when it comes to that for me. But just didn't seem to make sense. You know, if he was still on a team, I can understand why his account would be active, that sort of thing. But he's no longer a member of the team. Why would he have access to, you know, that huddle film and all that sort of thing? So, I don't know.
Well, you know, back in the day, I remember, you know, being at but this is during fall camp, and I think a lot of times you had, you know, wavering eyes. I remember Willa one time, and where Southern practice, they have those hedges all around the field. But they had an open section then, and it, you know, and one thing about the street committee, which means fans. and Coach Richardson and them would allow, you know, the fans to watch, you know, fall camp. So one day it was like, wait a minute, I see somebody on the top of how did they get in the stadium? And then you could tell they had binoculars. Rumor has it that it was either a Grambling spy or a Jackson State spy. Never been able to confirm that, but you know, some wild things happened back in the day. But the information the conference will release their findings, and then we'll go for that. But it's still Southern and Jackson State in the SWAC 2024 Football Championship. We'll take a timeout. When we come back, prediction time. Week 13, got a few games. Some have already started, but we'll talk about that. And take a question or two from the chat room. You're watching the Coach Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. We shall return.
Looking for the ultimate cultural experience of 2025? The Zora Outdoor Festival of the Arts is where you need to be. From January 31st to February 2nd, Eatonville, Florida will come alive with incredible live performances from the Lavert Experience and Sunshine Anderson. Immerse yourself in interactive art. Take a journey through history with a new virtual tour app that brings Eatonville's legacy to life from your phone. Enjoy family-friendly STEM activities and explore over 80 unique vendors. Please don't miss the unforgettable R&B tribute to the legends. This is more than a festival. It's a celebration of Eatonville's rich cultural heritage. Visit zorafestival.org for tickets or to become a vendor. We'll see you in Eatonville, the oldest Black incorporated municipality in the country.
If you think all pads are exactly the same, think again. This is Always Ultra Thins reinvented with the Always Triple Protection System. This pad wicks gushes 90% faster, absorbs even more so you can feel dry, and locks odors in. Rethink your pad for up to 100% leak-free and odor-free comfort with the totally reinvented Always Ultra Thins. This is always like never before.
The Cuvée Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cuvée.
Nope. Nope.
Come on, him?
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
This is Brian Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Carlos Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. Appreciate everyone tuning in. This week's game, Alabama A&M at Mississippi Valley State. Excuse me. It has started at 12 p.m., so they should be at least in the second quarter. Prairie View A&M at Alabama State, that's a 2 p.m. game. Of course, Jackson State at Alcorn State, 2 p.m., and Texas Southern at Arkansas Pine Bluff. Can Valley make it 2 weeks in a row?
Go ahead, Mr. Brown. Go ahead.
It might be asking a bit much.
Wait a minute, asking a bit much. Come on.
But I mean, but I bet they're feeling good. You know, I mean, after last week, you know, I bet they're feeling good. You know, but you can best believe nobody's taking them for granted anymore. That's for sure, because they know now what they're capable of.
So you believe reality, and not putting words in your mouth, reality has set in, and you like Alabama and them to win this ball game, correct?
Definitely. I think you know, Coach Maynard's got a lot at stake. You know, we all have talked about his predicament, that sort of thing, and so no, he can't afford to take anybody lightly. You know, he's got to finish up the season strong. You know, so I mean, he's got more motivation, I think, than probably the guy at Valley. So I think he'll be okay.
Motivation. We talked about some seats being warm last couple of weeks. Maynard and Coach McDowell at Prairie View A&M. Some people agree, some people disagree. Coach Norman, who do you like?
I've been going against these guys all year, so I'm going to have to go for them. I'm going to go with Mississippi Valley because of what they
What you finish your statement, Coach Norman?
Yes, sir. I'm going with Mississippi Valley. I think it's going to be a close one, but I think that momentum they had a good week of practice. The coaches are excited. The fans are excited. The players are excited. And I think that they're going to go in there and try to do everything they can to fight for 4 quarters. I'm going to go with Valley by 3. I'm not going to put a score out there, but I think it's going to be a 20-23, 17-14, something like that.
Wow. Thanks, Marlon A. Valley just tied it up 7-7. Oh, boy. My heart says pulling for Valley. My mind says if you look at it, A&M is a better team. Coach Norman, I'm gonna join you. I think Valley with the upset two in a row. And if I'm wrong, I can blame it on Charles Edmond. Because he has a lot of faith in Mississippi Valley State. And you know what? The record may not indicate it, but they probably a better team this year than last year, but the record doesn't show it.
Probably so.
And I will give them this. They played a tough non-conference schedule. Give them credit for that.
Well, that was their guarantee portion, even though it was FCS wide.
Yeah, but it was tough.
But they were out there trying to get the few dollars that they could get. So, that's probably the reason why. Yeah, but for me, I would think that I would have to lighten up on that schedule.
Mhm.
Maybe give them just one of those FCS guarantees and make the other two games against some people that he can beat. So maybe they can get some early success, towards getting to my goal of being a 500 program. I
Yeah.
got to try to help him a little bit myself. If I'm not going to give him the NCAA maximum in terms of being able to go out and get the big dollars, then I got to do what it takes to try to
Oh,
help them be successful.
you had me
Yeah.
worried. You had me worried there, Wheeler, but you came
Oh
back.
no, I mean,
No, you
my
came back to it. Well, what? A cup, just one, a guarantee. But we don't have that position in basketball. My goodness. Ugh.
well, basketball gonna have to carry the weight like they're doing now. I mean, what kids? Somebody got to pay Carlos.
Oh, but I would agree. Lighten up the football non-conference just a little bit. But I give them points. I give them points if I'm the AD. Albeit they've got to bring in money for at least not getting blown out by 50 or 60 points.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Purview.
mean, I ain't going to play North Dakota State now. That's for sure. I ain't going out there.
You sure, Wheeler?
I ain't
You're a hardliner.
not for 100,000. No. No.
125.
No. Now, if he give me three, now I might try to think about it. But and they're not going that high. I think the best they probably do. I think A&T got like maybe 250 a few years ago for going out there, but that's not enough for me to take my team out there.
Well, we got to update 13-7, Alabama A&M. I'm not gonna change my pick. Purview A&M and Alabama State. Now this is interesting. Purview defeated FAMU, then lost to Alcorn the next week. Alabama State coming off of a very, very tough loss. I guess this week I'm feeling the upsets. I'm going to put my faith in Purview A&M. I think they hit a field goal to win it, although I wouldn't be surprised if Alabama State gets it done. But I'm going to go with Prairie View. I guess I'm looking for the upset week this week.
Who's the home team?
Alabama State.
I'm going with Alabama State.
Coach Norman, who you like?
I got Alabama State. They got good defense. Their offense is, I think that freshman quarterback's getting better. They run the ball very well, but I think that defense gets them through the end of the season. I'm going with Alabama State.
I'm just concerned from the mental standpoint. Physically, not so much concerned. But where's that mindset after last week? It could go two ways. They're mad and they want to take it up, but nobody to blame but themselves. Or do they want to take it out on Prairie View A&M? I don't think Prairie View A&M will be a pushover in this game. Jackson State at Alcorn. Now, this could be a feel-good pick, but I'm still riding with Jackson State in this one. I just think they're going to have too much offense. And someone in the chat room said those suspended players, not really a lot of them are counted on. Why is it that it seems like the bench players are always getting it? I guess because they're not in the game as much. They want to get into the fight.
They're not playing, so they out there showing out.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, but I'm going with Jackson State. I'm confident they're going to take it. Wheeler, what say you?
I'm going with Jackson State. I think TC got the pedal to the metal, and I think it's going to be a tough one now. It ain't going to be a rollover, but I'm going with Jackson State today.
I like Jackson by 10 points. How about that, Coach Norman?
I'm going 3. I'm going
to go with Alcorn. Alcorn's got good offense. Jackson State got a good team. Don't get me wrong. TC's done a good job, but I just think, Soul Bowl, both of the teams from Mississippi. I think Alcorn's got a little more to show for. And then even though those 6 guys are probably not counting on, that's got to be some kind of demeanor to the team. Like, wow, we just lost 6 of our brothers. So I'm gonna go with Alcorn. I'm gonna say it's gonna be a close one, but I got Alcorn. I'm gonna stick with Alcorn.
Okay. Texas Southern and Arkansas Pine Bluff. This is a team, and by the way, a big shout out to Willie Miles. You saw it on social media. 5'9" listed. I'm gonna say 5'8". Okay, I'm gonna say 5'7". 350 pounds. He scoops and scores. Got to be the play in college football. It made ESPN. Marcus Spears, his podcast, and he scoops it up and he returns it. And numbers, I think 77, big offensive lineman, grabs him and tries to pull him. He twists and contorts his body, breaks off, and still scores a touchdown. And then a mad celebration happened after the game. I think many people in the chat room have seen it. If you have a Coach Norman, I'll send it to you. This guy did a great job, and just wanted to bring that up. Now, back to Arkansas Pine Bluff. They're at home. I'm going to go with the road team. I'm going to go with Texas Southern. Although Arkansas Pine Bluff, the quarterback was as advertised, and the receiver, I think Texas Southern will have a defensive scheme to kind of cut them down for us offensively. And if they could keep it where their offense is not as explosive, I think they have a shot. Maybe I have a glutton for punishment this week, but I'm taking Texas Southern in this ball game. Wheeler?
I'm going with the home team. Pine Bluff's the home team, right?
Yeah.
I'm going with Pine Bluff today.
Wheeler's going for the home teams. Coach Norman?
I'm with Coach Brown. I'm going to go with the home team. Like I say, I like that quarterback. They got two little scat backs. They hit the holes very well. Then defensively, my buddy that played with me at Langston, he's their D coordinator, David Callaway. So, I like Pine Bluff today.
Okay. Last but not least, Florida Classic. That's on my bench list. Benchmark to take in one of these games before I leave this God's green earth.
Oh, come on, don't say that.
Yeah, and the Magic City Class. I got to get it done, and also I have to visit. And when I say this, people really are ashamed of me, but I'm in the state of Louisiana. I've never visited Grambling State University. Got to get it done. Got to get it done. Maybe for baseball, maybe for basketball. We shall see. But Bethune-Cookman and FAMU. Now, this FAMU team coming off of back-to-back losses. Well, I don't want to say 3 straight losses, but back-to-back losses. This is their big rivalry game. Who do you like, Coach Norman, this one? FAMU or Bethune-Cookman at 2:30 p.m. Also, I believe on ESPN Plus.
I'm going with FAM today. I'm going with FAM. FAM gets it back up right.
Yeah.
And gets it together for the old college try, I guess.
I know FAMU's having problems over there. I know they let the offensive coordinator go on Monday. They put in a new guy, but he's been there. They got a real good, talented quarterback. They got a big line. They should be able to run the ball. They got good defense. We know that. So Bethune's not a pushover, though. They haven't played very well this year. I see it being a good game. I'm really not just a slap around or anything like that, but I'm going to go with FAM by 3.
I'm going to go with FAMU. Not the season that they wanted. They expect championships. And for EA's sake and Brian Fulford, Roy, all the guys at the Black College Sports Network,
yeah,
I think you go out with a somewhat better feeling about this season. I like FAMU in this game. And it'd probably be close, I think, for 2 to 3 quarters. And then I think FAMU will pull away in the end. I'll even throw a score in on this one. 32-18.
And you know, Carlos, I wasn't that high on that higher. Yeah, that just, all the things that transpired with that, I just wasn't a fan of that higher. I thought it was some better options out there. Yeah, that's just me.
Yeah, I understand.
I just thought there was some better options out there, and I thought they listened to some folk who they probably shouldn't have listened to. In terms of ultimately making that decision. I understand why they wanted to go in-house, that sort of thing. I thought maybe, if they wanted an alum or somebody close by, the boy that's at Albany State now, I think he played quarterback at FAMU a while ago and, did a good job at Albany, I think the last year or the last 2 years. If they wanted, that kind of tie to the program, there were other options out there that they probably could have gone with that had a little bit more experience head coaching wise than the guy they wound up hiring. So I don't know. Like I said, it's just me. I have a different set of metrics by, which I like to go by, and but I just did not. The whole situation was kind of, I don't know, out of whack for me.
Yeah, well, you often say the decisions that you make, and let's kind of project a little bit. Our expectations will be higher in the second year. From the outside looking in, let me preface this by saying this. For FAMU, I think he will be expected to challenge for the SWAC championship again, challenge for the East. And then when you look at it, let's say if it's another disappointing year too. Now, kind of based on, and Willa, here I go again, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to pick based on what I know of you being on the show. You would look at him at least having 4 years. So
at least three. I don't think
Wait a minute, you're going
value.
to 3?
At least three. At least 3.
What?
I would like to say 4. But if we continue to underachieve, and he would probably be the first to say that they underachieved this year. Then that would not bode well for him moving down the line. Now he would have to be in contention in the thick of things come next year. There's no doubt about that. As we look to continue that relationship moving forward. So I would like 4, but I would say at least 3. By year 3, I know whether or not he's going to be able to get it done. By the end of year 3, I will be able to pretty much tell whether or not he's going to be able to take us to the promised land. Now, granted, he's got all the resources necessary.
Yep.
Scholarship, locker rooms, recruiting budgets, coaching staff, the whole 9 yards. No excuse not to be in the thick of things on a regular basis. He had a hand in recruiting those kids. He was on staff the year before. So he had a hand in recruiting the kids that are there, so no reason why the transition should not have been better than it probably is right now.
Coach Norman, and he's not here, boy, if Charles was here, we'll hear, well, be careful. If you tear down the program, it may take them a long time to get back. Oh, my goodness. No, I don't believe in that. Because you know what? If you're good at what you do, you're not perfect. It won't take you long. Now, in some cases, it may take a while, but I'm just projecting out here. Like I said, from the outside looking in, because I know FAMU is kind of, like Jackson State, expectations are high. And Willa put it underachieve, But 7-4, 6-5 to some, that's a winning season. But to me, Willa, Coach Norman, I never liked 6-5 seasons. Never have. Never will. But go ahead, Coach Norman.
I was gonna say, if you're good at what you do, you're good at what you do. We as coaches, we all have a philosophy, a vision, a plan. When we come through the door, we have to implement it. Now, he was already on staff there, so he has a hand up compared to the guy that's coming through the door. But I was saying this the other day. I think that when Willie left, they expected whoever came through that door to be Willie. And you have to make the program yours, kind of like what TC did at Jackson State. He went 7-4, and he said up front, he said, "I'm not Deion Sanders, I'm TC Taylor." I don't know what Coach Cozy said or anything like that, but every time you talk about FAMU, they first, Willie gone, Willie not here, Willie. And I'm like, hey, okay, Cozy, he's got to say, hey, guys, I'm in charge now. This is my football program. And the dismissal of the offense, well, he said he didn't dismiss the offense coordinator. He just demoted him back down to O-line, and he gave the quarterback coach the play call in. It's a lot going on over there, but I agree. You know, you are who you are. He had a coaching background. He played at Florida State, so he knows football. The kids didn't play very hard for him this year. He's got 2 more games to go. He's got this week, and then he's got next Friday. Everything like that. Hopefully, he can finish off with a winning season and get ready to go into recruiting. And like I say, you know, keep your head up, stay strong, and let the, you guys. Southern has a strong fan base, and Jackson State and FAMU. You know, they want wins right now. And that's why I say, as a head coach, when you coming through the door of that philosophy book, you're supposed to be able to say, okay, I want to win right now. That's why I was asking Coach Brown earlier about, at Valley, how much time do I get? Because if I'm just 1-10 every year, 1-10, and there's no heat under me, I'm cool. I'm just chilling. I'm not, maybe I wasn't very good, and they're showing now. But if I know, hey, Frost, at the end of 2, you got to have 5 or 6, or I'm gonna give you 1 more, and you got to bring me 5 next year. Now I got to do a better job, but I know who I am, so I'm not worried about that. I know who I am. So, but I'm with you. I don't like 6 and 5. Hey, I got a thing called 8+, and I get T-shirts 8+. It means 8 win seasons. I mean, 8 games a year. So FAMU, they got some. They're gonna be okay. No matter what they go in, they're gonna be okay. They're FAMU. They got money. They got resources. But I just think that they just got to get to the end of the rope and take a deep breath and just get ready to start all over. But he's got to make that program his. Because right now, all you keep hearing is Willie Simmons. I don't hear nothing about James Cozy. He's got to make FAMU his.
I think he inherited an 8-3 team.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, that would have to be the starting point for him. 6 and 5 is not going to get it. Especially with the resources that are available at his disposal. 6 and 5 is not going to get it. 7 and 4 to me is not going to get it. Coming in the door, 8 and 3 was the benchmark for me, for him.
Mm-hmm.
And being in the upper third and everything else that goes along with that, fine. But outside of that, I mean, it is what it is on that one. So he's got a short leash.
Mm-hmm.
And being at FAMU, the honeymoon is over. There's no doubt about that. If he got any honeymoon at all, FAMU is one of those schools that they don't play that honeymoon thing. You got to come in spitting bullets. So I mean that's just the way it is.
Yeah, certain schools expectations are just a little bit higher. Listen to you talk about that as we got about 4 minutes left. And I wanted to pull up Coach Graves talking post game. Let me paraphrase it. He says he's been a winner wherever he's been. He has 9 championship rings. No, he's not a celebrity coach because that was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And we went over. Oh boy, we went over that. We thought it was going to be a trend that you need to have all of these quote unquote celebrity coaches to be successful. But I go back and I think about it. Jackson State and Southern and Grambling State and FAMU had good football programs in the past.
Mm-hmm.
They have a legacy.
Mm-hmm.
When we had Coach Banks on, he talked about Southern didn't feel the need to have to go that route with a celebrity coach. And so we talk about expectations. They are all higher at some places. But ultimately, whether you're at Prairie, Texas Southern, the fan base and alumni, they want to win. And they win championships. Maybe I'm unrealistic, but whenever they ask me every year, what do I say? It's Atlanta or bust. And people I know say that arrogant, you know what? He can't mean that. I'm consistent. I'm kind of like what you said, Coach Norman, 8+.
Yes.
I would go up a degree, 9+.
Ooh. Oh, God.
And then Charles always comes at me with, well, okay, what if they win the Bayou Classic, but they go 6-5? I don't like it. See, I'm going to be consistent. Now, you may say I'm nuts, but I always have high expectations. Now, does it happen every year, Wheeler? No. But I still expect that. Oh, boy. Got less than 2 minutes left. Let's wrap it up. What did we learn this week in HBCU sports?
That we need to be more consistent with our team. Head coaches need to be a little more firmer, stop giving passes. That extracurricular activity after the game should not be allowed, but it has to be taught at the beginning, going all the way back to when we recruit a young man. No punch policy. We're not going to embarrass our team or the university.
I agree. We have to do a better job. I say we, all from the top down, in terms of relaying the necessary information to our kids, in terms of what we will and will not tolerate. And we got to do it and know on certain terms. And, sportsmanship isn't dead. Like you said, it may have taken a little vacation for a minute, that sort of thing. And all these incidences right together may have kind of lend itself to that thought. But I just don't believe that. We just got to get a better handle on it. And, one of the many things that we have to emphasize, that sort of thing.
Well, I'll close it out. What did we learn? What did I learn? You learned that a Southern football team, it wasn't pretty at times. They've had struggles, adversity, but they were resilient. And a lot of times, a team takes on the persona of a coach, right? Mm-hmm. And I think Coach Graves exemplifies that. Never gave up, always still coaching, and you can overcome difficult adversity. And then, two, what else I learned? I learned that Southern University quarterback position, I think, has come quite clear now. The guy who was third on the depth chart, in my opinion, I've learned that he can lead this football team and give good, solid quarterback play. Hats off to Willie Miles and Jalen Woods. We want to thank Melanie, our producer, everybody in the chat room. Let the conversation continue. Make sure you join us next Saturday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time for another edition of the Carlos Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. Until next time, as always, peace and God bless.